Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge with your latest Manchester United news and transfer news this Friday morning. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're wrapped up cold. If you're in a cold area of the world at the moment, if you saw my Instagram at GoldbridgeMark, you'll see it's bloody freezing out there. But is it freezing in Man United's transfer budget? Because David Ornstein has dropped another bomber. He is saying that Manchester United can spend in January, which leads us to this story again as to why Ineos are so slow and why they are playing Glazeronomics with Manchester United's future. We'll talk about what David Ornstein said. He's saying there is movement for Manchester United to sign players in January. We've also got a definitive update on Kvaratskhelia, who is going to move in January, according to Fabrizio. Well, not 100%, but it's on. And it could massively benefit Man United, even though we don't get him. So let's keep our eye on that. I'm talking Mendes. I've just got a feeling that 2 + 2 might equal 4 here. There is a little bit of good news around Gyökeres as well. Maybe not for January, but for this summer. We'll tell you about that. The latest on what's going on with Marcus Rashford as well. And a few other bits I want to talk about. There's a home truth I want to deliver as well. Get ready to sit down if you think we wouldn't be better off with Qatar, because I've seen some gobby prats who've been gobby 18 months ago and can't accept you're wrong. You're wrong. We wouldn't be in the same situation if the Glazers had sold the club. Stop obsessing about Qatar and whether you morally want that type of ownership, and sit down and open your ears, because of course we would be in a better situation if the Glazers had fucked off with the debt. You absolute cretins. Open your bloody ears. And if you don't, shut the show off, because you're going to get sat down. Get a bloody cushion. Hi, Mark. You're so good in this. Keep it up, says Tony. Lovely message there. Thank you very much for that on a Friday morning. Right, let's get ready to hit some transfer news here. So this is coming in from David Ornstein in relation to Manchester United's January transfer window. The way it's been explained to me, not me, this is David Ornstein, quote, the way it's been explained to me is that Manchester United are going to be okay on PSR, FFP, whatever you want to call it, this month. On the Athletic podcast, it's been explained to me that Man United are going to be okay this month. It's not like the walls are collapsing in on their financial situation. It's not great, clearly. They have got work to do, but I do think there is a bit of scope to do something in the January transfer window. So for me, in the world of transfers, you have two definitive, reliable sources, Fabrizio and David Ornstein. And David Ornstein is saying that, from what he's been told, Manchester United's financial situation is not as dire as some people are reporting, and that there is scope for Manchester United to spend money in January. And I love this update because it fits in with what I and you and others have been discussing for quite a long time. But unfortunately, we get the mainstream usual suspects who are in the press conferences with Man United every week, who aren't proper journalists because they don't write proper journalistic stories. They get fed stuff and they don't realise they may as well have PR written on their forehead, because they take a story from United, they put it out to the masses, they don't investigate it, they don't scrutinise it, they don't question it because they're scared they won't get any more stories, and they literally get told it's really difficult to spend in January because of FFP and PSR. They take that information, they print it in their paper, and they don't do anything about it. So well done to David Ornstein for actually being a consistent journalist. Somebody that actually will get more access than those prats, because he actually is a proper journalist, and Man United will respect him and give him stuff because he's a journalist who goes out and gets stories, and they want to have a relationship with him because they know he's dangerous, because he's a proper journalist. So they want to have a relationship with him, and it's born out of respect. They're not just feeding him scraps. David Ornstein has absolutely blown the doors off here because he is respected, and he's saying, look, it's not a great situation for Man United, but there is scope to spend money in January. And that's what we know. But when it comes from somebody like David Ornstein, who's respected, it's absolutely massive. We know we can spend money in January. We know the Glazers and Ineos don't want to, and that's what it comes down to. This has got nothing to do with there's no money in the pot. This has got nothing to do with Man United fans going, we completely agree we shouldn't be spending money. We need to spend. We need players. We've got a brand new manager. We've got a brand new system. We need about 8 players. It's a January transfer window. We should be bringing in as many as we can, within reason. And we're saying we can't do anything. Well, we can. We can do stuff. We should be doing stuff. And the reason they don't want to do stuff is because the club is riddled with debt and holes created by them. So let's see what's going to happen in the next few weeks, because there is scope for Manchester United to spend money. That's where we're at. And they have to. Well, they might not to, but they might not, but they have to. Now, that leads nicely into what Fabrizio Romano has said. So this morning we've got two really good updates from the two best transfer experts, I think, in the game at the moment. David Ornstein is saying that Manchester United have got scope to spend money, regardless of PSR and FFP. They do have money to spend. Fabrizio Romano is saying that in relation to Kvaratskhelia, who a lot of United websites and channels and the mainstream are talking about because they're morons, because the story's actually moved on and they're still talking about it because they don't tap themselves into what's actually happening and research. The Kvaratskhelia deal to Manchester United is dead. There is no deal. Ornstein never mentioned us. Fabrizio hasn't mentioned us. This deal's dead. Don't even talk about it with Man United. It's gone. It's yesterday's paper. It's you know, wipe your ass with it and flush it down the toilet. We're not in for Kvaratskhelia. This is not happening. And yet still people are talking about it. Move on, ignore them. Don't let them imprint your brain with their knobheadness. This was a story for yesterday. However, the interesting thing about this today is that Fabrizio is saying that PSG wanted Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia last summer and were willing to pay in excess of 150 million euros for the pair. PSG want Kvaratskhelia. The price this January is 80 million euros. You can understand why we're not in the race. Well, we're not in the race anyway because we can't offer him anything. We're not in the Champions League, etc. But we're not in the race. Why is it relevant to United? Well, Fabrizio is saying, look, PSG want him. This can happen in January. It's shocking, but it can because of the contract. His wage is a little bit like Mainu. He's on the same contract he signed at Napoli years ago. Obviously, he's not on the money he should be on. He won't sign a new contract at Napoli, so they've got to cash in. And that's why it can happen in January. PSG need to raise money. Mendes, I just saw the word there. Elias Medeb is absolutely correct. Mendes. I have a feeling, and look, I might be doing a Ricky here and doing 2 + 2 is Matic, Mark, but I have a feeling that there is a story here that could develop over the next couple of weeks. Kvaratskhelia to PSG. I'd rather he goes to PSG than Liverpool or Chelsea. He goes to PSG for 80 million. We take Mendes to help them get the 80 million. Bada bing, bada boom. Very, very similar to what happened in the summer with the Benfica midfielder and we took Ugarte. We've walked this path before and it's starting to make sense. We take Mendes, they get Kvaratskhelia. They take a player in January they desperately want and didn't think they could get and need to get the money for now. And we help them with that by taking a player that wants to come to us and doesn't want to be there anymore. Bada bing, bada boom. Neves, João Neves, Benfica, goes to PSG. We take Ugarte. Happy days. Kvaratskhelia goes to PSG. We take Mendes. Happy days. So, Goldbridge, that's the end of the clip. I'm sure you enjoyed it. In fact, I bet that's the best clip you've ever watched. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon so you never miss a clip again. In fact, smash a like on the video because we all know only legends like videos and you are all legends. So please smash a like on the video and we will see you again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching as always.